What if I told you that the secret to winning in business isn't rooted in brute strength, but in clarity of thought, strategic insight that cuts through the noise and reshapes the playing field? What if the most successful leaders and organizations don't simply react to change, but engineer it, aligning every decision to a vision others can't yet see? Welcome to the Mind of the Strategist, Kenichi Ohmae's groundbreaking masterpiece that unveils the art and science of strategy like never before. Ohmae, a celebrated McKinsey consultant and one of the world's foremost business thinkers, doesn't just hand you a playbook for winning. He challenges you to think, to outwit, and to redefine what success means in a rapidly changing world. Whether you're a corporate leader, an entrepreneur, or someone fascinated by the genius behind strategic moves that reshape industries, this book holds timeless lessons that are as relevant today as they were when it was first written. Ohmae's insights transcend borders and industries, blending analytical precision with the creative flair of a master strategist. But here's the real question. Are you ready to think like a strategist? Because this journey isn't just about learning tactics. It's about shifting your mindset, challenging conventional wisdom, and daring to see opportunities where others see obstacles. In this podcast episode, we'll dive into the heart of Ohmae's work, unpacking not just what strategy is, but how you can develop the razor-sharp thinking required to craft and execute it. So, grab your notebook, fasten your mental seatbelt, and get ready to explore the fascinating world of strategic thinking. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with actionable insights, fresh perspectives, and the confidence to approach problems, not with fear, but with the boldness of a strategist. Let's dive into the mind of Kenichi Ohmae and discover what it truly means to think like a strategist. Would you like me to expand on any section or refine the hook further? Introduction: A new perspective on strategy. Kenichi Ohmae opens the book by challenging conventional approaches to strategy. He emphasizes that strategy is not about complex theories or extensive data analysis, but about creative problem-solving. Ohmae, drawing from his experience as a consultant at McKinsey and Company, explains that strategy is fundamentally about focusing on the essence of the problem and finding unique, practical solutions. The introduction sets the tone for the book, framing strategic thinking as both an art and a discipline. Ohmae warns against relying solely on tools and frameworks without truly understanding the business context. He asks the reader to adopt a curious, open mind, as strategy requires thinking differently and seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. This opening chapter is both motivational and pragmatic, inviting readers to embark on a journey to sharpen their strategic instincts. Chapter 1: The Art of Strategic Thinking. Ohmae begins by distinguishing between operational efficiency and strategic thinking. He argues that many managers confuse tactics with strategy, focusing on incremental improvements rather than bold, creative moves that redefine the playing field. In this chapter, Ohmae introduces the concept of the strategic triangle, which consists of three key players. 1. The company, your organization and its strengths. 2. The customer, the ultimate judge of value. 3. The competition, the entities you're up against in the market. He stresses that effective strategy involves aligning these three elements. For example, a company must focus on understanding customer needs deeply while also outmaneuvering competitors by capitalizing on its unique strengths. Ohmae also shares practical examples from his consulting career, such as helping a Japanese electronics company shift its focus from competing on price to developing a unique product feature that customers loved. The takeaway? True strategy is about differentiation, not imitation. Chapter 2: Analyzing the Problem. This chapter delves into the critical skill of breaking down problems into manageable parts. Ohmae introduces the concept of MIS, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive, a framework to ensure all aspects of a problem are considered without overlap. He describes how strategic thinkers must resist the temptation to jump to solutions and instead focus on asking the right questions. For instance, when faced with declining sales, the question isn't just how do we sell more, but also why are sales declining in the first place? Ohmae shares the story of a struggling retail chain that identified its problem as poor foot traffic. By digging deeper, they discovered that customers found the stores outdated. The solution wasn't just a marketing campaign, but a complete revamp of the store design to attract modern shoppers. This chapter teaches readers that strategy is as much about diagnosis as it is about execution. Without a clear understanding of the problem, any solution is likely to miss the mark. Chapter 3. The Power of Focus. Here, Ohmae introduces the idea of concentration of resources, arguing that businesses should focus their efforts where they have the greatest potential impact. Spreading resources too thinly across multiple initiatives dilutes effectiveness and hinders strategic success. Ohmae uses the metaphor of a river. When water is concentrated, it has the power to carve through rock. Similarly, businesses that focus their efforts on their strongest areas of advantage can create significant competitive differentiation. He shares examples of companies that succeeded by focusing on a single product or market niche, such as Honda's dominance in motorcycles before expanding into automobiles. By concentrating their resources, they were able to establish a strong foothold before taking on larger markets. The lesson from this chapter? Do fewer things but do them exceptionally well. Chapter 4. Creative Thinking and Innovation. Ohmae argues that creativity lies at the heart of strategic success. He challenges the reader to think beyond traditional industry boundaries and imagine entirely new ways of solving problems. This chapter highlights the importance of challenging assumptions. Ohmae explains that many companies fail to innovate because they are trapped by their own success. They assume the rules of the game cannot be changed, which leaves them vulnerable to disruption. For example, Ohmae describes how a Japanese car manufacturer disrupted the U.S. automobile market by challenging the assumption that bigger is better. By focusing on smaller, fuel-efficient cars, they carved out a lucrative niche during the oil crisis of the 1970s. Ohmae's advice is simple but powerful. Never stop questioning the status quo. Chapter 5. Building Competitive Advantage. This chapter explores the concept of competitive advantage and how companies can build and sustain it. Ohmae emphasizes that competitive advantage doesn't come from doing everything better than competitors. It comes from excelling in a few key areas that matter most to customers. He introduces the idea of key success factors, KSFs, the critical areas where a company must perform well to succeed in its industry. Identifying and prioritizing these KSFs is essential for developing an effective strategy. For instance, Ohmae explains how a company in the airline industry might focus on operational efficiency and customer service as its KSFs, while a tech company might prioritize innovation and speed to market. The key takeaway? Find what truly matters to your customers and focus relentlessly on excelling in those areas. Chapter 6. Strategy and Implementation. In this chapter, Ohmae bridges the gap between strategy and execution. He argues that even the best strategies are worthless without effective implementation. One of the key points he makes is that strategy must be simple and actionable. If a strategy is too complex, it's unlikely to be understood or embraced by the organization. Ohmae suggests that a good strategy should be communicated in a way that everyone in the company can understand and act on. He shares examples of companies that failed because they had great strategies on paper but couldn't execute them effectively. In contrast, he highlights successful organizations that align their entire workforce around a clear, focused vision. The message here is clear. Execution is everything. A mediocre strategy implemented well will outperform a brilliant strategy executed poorly. Chapter 7. The Global Perspective. Ohmae emphasizes that in an increasingly interconnected world, businesses must adopt a global perspective. He explains that strategy is no longer confined to local markets. Companies must think about how their actions fit into the broader global context. He discusses the rise of Japanese companies in the global marketplace and attributes their success to their ability to adapt to local markets while leveraging global efficiencies. For instance, Japanese manufacturers excelled by setting up production facilities in foreign countries, allowing them to reduce costs and serve local markets more effectively. Ohmae encourages readers to think about global trends, such as technological advancements and shifts in consumer behavior, and to incorporate these insights into their strategic planning. Chapter 8: Embracing Uncertainty. Strategic thinking thrives in environments of uncertainty. Ohmae argues that uncertainty is not something to fear but an opportunity to gain a competitive edge. Businesses often waste resources trying to predict the future with precision when they should be preparing to adapt quickly to unforeseen changes. He explains that successful strategists focus on what they can control and identify a range of plausible scenarios rather than relying on one fixed forecast. This adaptability allows businesses to pivot as conditions change. Ohmae recounts how a Japanese electronics company, instead of committing entirely to one emerging technology, invested in multiple small prototypes, enabling them to seize the market leader position when one technology proved to dominate. The key lesson? Be agile, stay flexible, and treat uncertainty as your ally. Chapter 9: Customer-Centric Strategy. The reader is reminded that the customer is at the heart of the strategic triangle. Ohmae delves deeper into how businesses can better understand their customers and meet their evolving needs. He emphasizes the importance of listening to the voice of the customer rather than relying solely on quantitative market research. True customer insight often comes from observing behaviors, conducting interviews, or immersing oneself in the customer experience. For instance, Ohmae shares the story of a clothing retailer that discovered its core customer base felt overwhelmed by too many choices. By simplifying its product line and creating curated collections, the retailer not only improved customer satisfaction but also increased profitability. The takeaway here is profound. Never assume you know what your customers want. Always seek to understand their real needs. Chapter 10: The Role of Leadership in Strategy. No strategy can succeed without strong leadership to guide its execution. Ohmae explores the qualities that make a great strategic leader, including vision, decisiveness, and the ability to inspire others. He warns against management by consensus, which he sees as a common pitfall in many organizations. While collaboration is important, leaders must ultimately be willing to make tough decisions and take calculated risks. Ohmae highlights examples of visionary leaders who transformed their industries by staying true to their strategic vision, even in the face of opposition. He also discusses the importance of aligning the organization around a shared sense of purpose to ensure everyone is working toward the same goals. The lesson is clear: strategic success starts at the top. Leaders must lead by example and foster a culture of strategic thinking. Chapter 11: Disrupting the Status Quo. In this chapter, Ohmae challenges readers to think like disruptors. He argues that the most successful companies are those that break the rules and redefine their industries. He provides examples of companies that succeeded by questioning long-held assumptions, such as discount airlines that eliminated unnecessary frills to offer lower fares, or tech startups that used open-source software to disrupt established giants. Ohmae encourages readers to identify sacred cows in their industries, practices or beliefs that everyone takes for granted, and explore ways to challenge them. The key takeaway? Innovation often comes from questioning what others accept as unchangeable. Chapter 12: The Importance of Execution. While strategy is often seen as a high-level, intellectual exercise, Ohmae reminds readers that its success ultimately depends on execution. He argues that execution should not be an afterthought, but an integral part of the strategic planning process. A great strategy is worthless if it cannot be implemented effectively. Ohmae discusses the importance of clear communication, strong teamwork, and a commitment to continuous improvement in executing strategy. He shares real-world examples of companies that failed because of poor execution, such as businesses that overpromised and underdelivered due to a lack of alignment between their strategy and operational capabilities. The lesson here is simple but vital. A good strategy must be executable, and execution must be flawless. Chapter 13. Developing a Global Perspective. Ohmae expands on the global themes touched upon earlier in the book. He argues that businesses must think beyond their domestic markets and embrace a global mindset. He provides practical advice for companies looking to expand internationally, including the importance of understanding local cultures, building relationships with local partners, and adapting products and services to meet the needs of different markets. Ohmae also discusses the challenges of competing in a global marketplace, such as navigating regulatory complexities and dealing with currency fluctuations. However, he sees these challenges as opportunities for businesses to differentiate themselves and gain a competitive edge. The message here is one of optimism. The global marketplace is full of opportunities for those willing to embrace its complexities. Chapter 14. The Evolving Role of Technology in Strategy. Ohmae reflects on how technological advancements are reshaping the strategic landscape. Although written decades ago, the book's insights remain relevant, as Ohmae foresaw the transformative power of technology in areas like automation, data analytics, and digital communication. He argues that businesses must stay ahead of technological trends and be willing to invest in innovation. However, he also cautions against adopting technology for its own sake. Technology should be a tool to support the broader strategy, not a strategy in itself. The lesson? Embrace technology as an enabler of strategy, but never lose sight of your strategic goals. Chapter 15. The Mindset of Continuous Improvement. In the final chapter, Ohmae emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and improvement. He argues that strategy is not a one-time exercise, but an ongoing process. He encourages readers to cultivate a mindset of curiosity and experimentation. Great strategists are always looking for ways to improve, whether through small incremental changes or bold, transformative moves. Ohmae also stresses the importance of learning from failure. He shares examples of companies that rebounded from setbacks by analyzing their mistakes and using them as opportunities for growth. The closing message is one of empowerment. Anyone can become a great strategist with the right mindset and commitment to continuous improvement. In the ever-evolving world of business, where change is constant and competition relentless, The Mind of the Strategist by Kenichi Ohmae remains a beacon of clarity and wisdom. As the book concludes, it leaves readers with a transformative understanding of strategy, not merely as a set of tools or methodologies, but as a mindset, a way of thinking that transcends boundaries and industries. Ohmae's core message is both profound and empowering. The essence of strategy lies in perspective. A strategist is not just a planner, but an artist capable of seeing the invisible connections between markets, customers, and organizations. This ability to step back, analyze, and creatively reframe challenges into opportunities is what separates successful strategists from the rest. By the time we reach the final chapter, Ohmae has armed us with the tools to cultivate this mindset and apply it to real-world problems with confidence. One of the most striking elements of the book is its focus on customer centricity. Ohmae argues that the heart of any effective strategy begins and ends with the customer. While businesses often get caught up in internal priorities or competitive rivalries, the true strategist consistently seeks to understand and solve the customer's problems. This approach doesn't just ensure relevance, it creates lasting value and differentiation. Equally impactful is Ohmae's emphasis on flexibility. Unlike rigid planning models, he advocates for an adaptive approach to strategy, one that evolves with changing circumstances. Through compelling case studies, he demonstrates how companies that remain agile and responsive to market dynamics are better equipped to seize opportunities and mitigate risks. His insights encourage readers to embrace uncertainty, viewing it not as a barrier, but as fertile ground for innovation. Yet, the mind of the strategist doesn't stop at theoretical concepts. Ohmae provides a practical framework for strategic thinking, emphasizing three key pillars: the company, the customer, and the competition. By balancing these forces and identifying intersections where they align, strategists can craft solutions that are not only effective but also sustainable. This triad serves as a compass, guiding decision-making in even the most complex scenarios. As the book draws to a close, Ohmae challenges us to think beyond conventional metrics of success. Strategy, he explains, is not about winning at all costs. It's about creating value, solving problems, and driving progress. This perspective shifts the narrative from short-term gains to long-term impact, inspiring leaders to prioritize purpose over profit and innovation over imitation. But perhaps the most profound takeaway from Ohmae's work is the human element of strategy. At its core, strategy is not just about analysis or execution, it's about vision. A great strategist possesses not only analytical rigor, but also the creativity to imagine new possibilities and the courage to pursue them. Ohmae's own career is a testament to this philosophy, as he recounts moments when bold, unconventional thinking led to transformative outcomes. For aspiring strategists, the book serves as both a guide and a call to action. Ohmae reminds us that the ability to think strategically is not an innate talent, but a skill that can be cultivated through curiosity, discipline, and practice. He encourages readers to question assumptions, seek diverse perspectives, and constantly refine their thinking. In doing so, he empowers us to approach challenges with confidence and clarity, regardless of their scale or complexity. The final pages of The Mind of the Strategist leave a lasting impression. Ohmae's wisdom is not confined to the boardroom. It extends to every aspect of decision-making, from personal goals to societal challenges. His insights resonate across cultures and industries, offering timeless principles that remain as relevant today as they were when the book was first published. In conclusion, Kenichi Ohmae's The Mind of the Strategist is more than a book. It's a masterclass in thinking, a blueprint for navigating complexity, and a source of inspiration for anyone striving to make an impact. By shifting our focus from rigid plans to creative problem-solving, Ohmae redefines what it means to be a strategist in a world that demands adaptability and vision. As readers close the book, they are left with a renewed sense of possibility. Ohmae's parting message is both simple and profound. Strategy is not about following a formula, it's about cultivating a mindset. It's about seeing the world not as it is, but as it could be, and having the determination to turn that vision into reality. Whether you're leading a multinational corporation, launching a startup, or simply navigating the complexities of life, the lessons from The Mind of the Strategist will equip you to think boldly, act decisively, and create lasting value. Kenichi Ohmae invites us to embrace the mind of a strategist, not just as a professional skill, but as a way of life. And in doing so, he inspires us to view every challenge as an opportunity to learn, grow, and contribute to a better future. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new video updates. Happy learning!